Surprisingly, when I posted that Grinch remake video last week, I didn't receive as much pushback as the Polar Express video. I mean, the Grinch live action has a higher letterbox score, plus I feel like everyone universally likes that movie more, and the Polar Express... Nope, I'm not gonna insult the Polar Express anymore. I am done. Even though I tore the live-action Grinch to shreds, it isn't the worst idea. Like I said in that video, the Grinch is a great concept. It's just the execution of that movie that made me hate it so much. Just based off the trailers, I knew that the Illumination take on the Grinch would already look better than the live-action version. But of course, nothing was decided until I saw the movie from start to finish. And after seeing it, I was pleasantly surprised. At first, I was happy that in a lot of ways, the Illumination Grinch is the complete opposite of the one I hate. It looks way better, the Grinch is way less cartoony and annoying, the Who's are nice again, and it is way nicer to look at. The trailers were not just using some beautiful scenes to sell the movie, because there are way too many to fit in the 90-minute runtime. Literally every shot looks amazing. And I know what you're thinking, it probably looks like the Lorax. Yes, this movie reminds me a bit too much of the Lorax. But at the same time, it is able to stand on its own. It maintains the kookiness of the original book while adding a modern twist. Like, the buildings look like they were right out of the book, but it looks modern enough to maintain Illumination's great animation. Besides, they clearly learned their lessons about ugly human designs. I mean, they went from this to this. Outside of the animation, this movie is filled with Christmas magic. It could just be the colors, but the music and the general happiness of the other Who's made me really want Christmas to come already. And I know I already said this before, but this movie made me understand the importance of having Who's who are actually nice, not bullies at the bottom of a mountain that are supposed to be nice. It really helps sell the overall message that anyone is redeemable. Anyone. The best moment in the movie, hands down, is Cindy Lou inviting the Grinch to her Christmas Day party after he literally stole everything. Like, think about that for a second. The Grinch ruined their Christmas. All of the lights that these people spent weeks putting up, and don't worry, we get to see them putting it up, is all gone in literally less than 6 hours. And she still invites him. First off, it stops the stupid third act sad montage from going on for too long, but it also just proves how kind Cindy Lou actually is. In the original, she's cute. In the live action version, she's cute. In this one, she constantly shows how fun and kind she is. And the voice actor isn't like the most peppy girl in the entire universe or something. She actually sounds like a normal girl. Thank you. There's a great subplot with Santa's letter that I personally thought was great, and that adds to the Grinch's arc of learning about what Christmas is about. That's not where I was going with this at all. What am I even doing? The great thing about this moment is how casual Cindy Lou is. There's no sense of discomfort when she invites him, and even at the party, no one really cares. They don't come across as stupid either. The general mood is that they're just really nice people who understand what Christmas is about. Which is pretty much all a Christmas movie has to do, let's be honest. This is easily the best version of the Who's I've seen in any of the three. Then again, the overall message does lead to this movie's biggest problem. The Grinch is way too nice. Now, I'm not saying that this movie's Grinch had to be a super cruel dog abuser, or that compared to the original movie, he's way too nice. On paper, I like that we're getting a different version of the Grinch that is nicer. I'm just saying that in order for me to believe that he went through growth, we needed a bit more time with him being evil before the movie goes for the he was neglected as a child backstory. And even the backstory itself has its host of problems. Even though it's way better than the live action movie's backstory, I'm now gonna look at the Grinch in a way more positive light than I ever did before. Just like the live action version, this movie kind of completely misses the point of the character. That he's just someone who loves hating. Giving the Grinch a reason for doing all this bad stuff just makes me feel bad for him, even before his crisis at the climax of the movie happens. I like the idea of the Grinch being a victim of situation rather than the wrongdoing of others. It's just, this could have happened like 50 minutes in, not 20. I just want a version of the Grinch that is also mean and nice at the same time. Is that so hard to ask? Ultimately though, I can kind of ignore this problem because this version makes up for it with a brand new theme of familial togetherness. Because the Grinch is so likable, we get to feel bad for him, while not blaming the Who's and ruining them in the process. It's just the simple idea of the Grinch being sad that he never had anyone with him. It's not because the Who's shut him out of their life or that he wants to be alone. He's just never known family. I guess the remake had a few lines like that, but it's kind of lost on me because Jim Carrey can't take anything seriously seriously. Not only does this add to the Grinch story that I really love, but it also proves that they wanted to tell a different story rather than just repeat the same ideas as the original, which if you saw the last video, you know is my biggest problem with remaking anything. Another thing that bothers me about this film is all the boring side characters that feel like they get way too much attention. I already mentioned that Cindy Lou is great, but the rest of them really annoy me. Max is fine, I guess. I really have nothing to say about him, but the random reindeer? Really? Why make such a fuss about getting a reindeer if Max is just gonna take over the role anyway? Who cares that he reunited with his family? It's an insanely cliche and simple moment that lasts for like 10 seconds. If a suspiciously plush-like character shows up for less than 10 collective minutes in an animated movie, it's probably just to add to merch sales. I guess as a business I get that, it's just so blatantly obvious. Also, the Grinch's neighbor is supposed to be a main character, I think, but he never does anything interesting, and the movie only seems to care about giving him screen time and not something to do. It's really weird. I remember him being in the movie a lot, but he never actually does anything that leaves any sort of impact. Every single time the Grinch comes down to Whoville, we spend a weird amount of time at his house only for it to amount to nothing. For example, there's a really strange scene with his dog that lasts way too long, only for it to kind of end with no prompting. Why can't he live in Whoville so we can at least look at these amazingly designed homes? Why does he have to live away from the regular homes? Oh well, at least there is one important payoff with him. Kind of. Don't worry though, there was one side character that really did it for me, and if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm going to talk about. This goat. No, I will not elaborate. Whenever Illumination makes a movie, I feel like there's a ton of people ready to pounce on the opportunity to destroy it, but I can say with full honesty that I really enjoyed this. Don't get me wrong, it isn't a perfect Christmas movie or something I'm dying to rewatch, but it's really pretty, has a good interpretation of the Grinch, and an amazing interpretation of the Who's. I'd recommend you see it at least once, because it is super different compared to the other two. It might be my second favorite Illumination film behind Despicable Me, which I guess doesn't say much for a lot of people, but Blue Sky and Sony are still worse. It doesn't look like it'll stay that way for long though. Movie score 6 out of 10, Christmas score 7 out of 10.